Do you have any inside funny Mormon stuff that
I actually have a story.
Okay.
Because I think I know what you're talking about. You're talking about Mormons are, especially growing up Mormon, you're part of that involves being a teenager, and part of that involves being incredibly horny.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's just how it works, right? And then, but you know how people, like, I read some statistic that a majority of people, when they see a caution wet paint or do not touch wet paint sign, they'll touch that paint just to test, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that forbidden, right?
Oh yeah.
And so then imagine that with boobs,
yeah.
or whatever, but or just even, and so there's there's two things that Mormon teenagers are good at, and that's dry humping. So, that is just the way. So you have like the Levi Lovin and all of that, just like trying to do everything up right to the book. And so there is stuff, I think you were talking about soaking.
That's right.
Because the term docking,
which
I think is a very beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Which is when two men connect foreskins.
Yes.
It's kind of like penis kissing, Isn't
it like Chinese finger cuffs a little bit? Like
a little bit.
There's a risk
but it
involved.
Seems something really beautiful. And it's also something that like no Mormons will ever do, because we are all circumcised.
Yeah. That's
so when you're born into it, So
they're excluded from.
Yeah, excluded from.
by
then
volition.
But then there is soaking, which is kind of just the tip, not moving, and there's all sorts of stuff.
Well, I've heard about soak parties. This was where you I'm just making sure I don't step on anybody's material, because it was in their act. But when one person is stationed inside of the other person, there's no movement.
Yeah.
But if a third party can create involuntary,
like shake the bed.
I mean, whatever action they choose to take, like that would be a soaking party.
I was never part of soaking.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'd know that probably.
No. No, I mean, but there are some practices. Another thing too is I think the term came out as saddlebacking. That's not Mormon, but the whole anal doesn't count and stuff like that. Yeah. But the problem when you have these kids trying to do sex workarounds without any sex education, like butt stuff is not like an amateur move, right? There's a lot of things you have to do, and ways for these kids to kind of hurt each other and get weird associations with sex. And that's, I think, a lot of like problem and repression, and in let alone even like you're not even supposed to be heterosexual. So what if you're like homosexual?
Oh yeah.
Right. And there's real distorted views of gender already. And so what if you can't have your truth? And I was fortunate to find a group of really wonderful misfits. And I was kind of the boring, weird kid who drew. I had a speech impediment growing up, so words were really hard for me, which is maybe why I do words for a living now, because I had to earn it. I didn't even start drinking until I was 19. Yeah. So I had left the church. And I mean, I didn't leave the church because I wanted to drink and fuck or any of that. I left the church because I wanted to find kind of a truth,
Mm-hmm.